Urgent update. Israeli tanks roll into Gaza, unleashing devastating strikes. The Israel-Hamas conflict has reached a critical juncture, with civilian lives at stake. What is the situation of Gaza, and what is happening now?
Israeli officials say they ordered the ground assault in order to destroy tunnels dug from Gaza into Israeli territory.
As explosions rock the region, the toll on innocent bystanders is unimaginable. Dozens of hostages have tragically lost their lives amidst the chaos. This shocking turn of events demands our immediate attention and understanding. Join us as we unravel the unfolding crisis, shedding light on the realities faced by those caught in the crossfire. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the far-reaching consequences of this crucial turning point. Explosions shatter the night sky over Gaza as Israel expands bombing.
You could probably hear the sounds there off to my right, your left. It's Israeli forces firing into Gaza. Gaza is behind me.
The night sky over Gaza was lit by the dim orange glow of Israeli flares, gently descending through the mist to highlight targets for warplanes before eventually fading away, leaving the scene in darkness once more. In northern Gaza, there were numerous explosions from Israeli airstrikes on Friday, quick bursts of vivid orange against the roofs of Palestinian apartments and refugee camps. The loud, sharp sound of the bombs followed each time, seconds apart, one after another. Above, the hum of Israeli military drones filled the air, growing softer and louder as the crafts circled the sky above. For the majority of Palestinians confined in the Gaza Strip, their world has narrowed down to these limited sounds and shades. On Friday, Israel significantly escalated its bombardment after disabling internet and communication in Gaza.
Now, meanwhile, internet access and the phone network have also been cut across the Gaza Strip. Palestinians, aid groups, news and civil society organizations have all lost touch with family and local staff in Gaza,
effectively isolating the small besieged area's 2.3 million people from connecting with one another and the outside world. Situation of people in Gaza. As anticipation builds for an expected Israeli ground offensive, over 1 million Palestinians in northern Gaza have been urged to relocate southward. This call, criticized by the United Nations as potentially catastrophic, comes amidst relentless airstrikes. Trapped within closed borders, Palestinians grapple with acute shortages of essential resources. Critical infrastructure failures have left them with sporadic phone and internet access. On October 18, President Biden announced a breakthrough, a deal to permit humanitarian aid through Egypt.
He becomes the first U.S. president to visit Israel during wartime. And then he announces he's going to address the nation in a prime-time address Thursday.
My message to any state or any other hostile actor thinking about attacking Israel remains the same as it was a week ago. Don't.
However, the initiation of deliveries may take several days. Residents, in interviews with the Post, reveal grim conditions: no electricity, no water, and nowhere to seek refuge. Gaza City's once thriving commercial hub now bears the scars of Israeli strikes, pushing the healthcare system to the edge of collapse. Approximately 566,000 people have sought shelter in designated UNRWA buildings. The agency, hindered by the blockade, struggled to provide crucial assistance. Martin Griffiths, UN humanitarian chief, declared the situation a catastrophic humanitarian crisis as the first limited aid convoy entered Gaza 2 weeks into the war.
Briefly allowed just 20 trucks into Gaza carrying food, medicine, and water, but no fuel was allowed. The UN is hoping a second convoy of relief trucks will be allowed in on Sunday.
Israeli tanks invade Gaza.
Sources have now told India Today that a big column of the Israeli tanks has now entered Gaza from 2 places, and this took place overnight. More tanks firing into Gaza from positions on Israeli frontline.
Israeli tanks have conducted a strategic operation in northern Gaza in preparation for forthcoming combat stages. The Israel Defense Forces (IDF) reported that they engaged multiple terrorist cells, targeted key infrastructure, and neutralized anti-tank missile positions. Following the operation, Israeli troops safely returned to their territory. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed Israel's readiness for a ground invasion of Gaza, emphasizing their mission to dismantle Hamas military and governmental capabilities, as well as to secure the release of hostages held by the Palestinian Islamist group.
The group was established in the early 1980s, inspired by the Iranian Revolution and the Muslim Brotherhood attacks on Israel, united by a shared goal: the violent destruction of the Jewish state.
Meanwhile, at the United Nations Security Council, attempts to pass resolutions addressing the Israel-Hamas conflict face challenges. The U.S. resolution underscored Israel's right to self-defense, called for adherence to international laws safeguarding civilians, and advocated for humanitarian pauses to deliver essential aid to Gaza. Although it garnered support from 10 out of 15 council members, Russia and China wielded their vetoes, preventing its adoption. On the other hand, the Russian resolution sought an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, while strongly condemning Hamas' attack on southern Israel and indiscriminate assaults on Gazan civilians. While it received 4 favorable votes, it fell short of the required 9 yes votes for passage. These recent Security Council sessions underscore the deep divisions and impasse concerning the Israel-Hamas conflict, further underscoring the challenge of maintaining international peace under the UN Charter.
We are here today to stop the killing, to stop the massacres being committed against the Palestinian people.
And then there was this from the UN Secretary General.
It is important to also recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation.
Hostage crisis.
The humanitarian crisis is worsening, and so too is the hostage situation.
The Israeli military reports that Hamas is currently holding 224 individuals hostage, though they acknowledge this number may be higher. Up to this point, 4 hostages have been released. On Monday, October 24th, 2 women, Nurit Cooper and Yochev Lifshitz, regained their freedom. Additionally, on Friday, October 20th, a mother and daughter from the U.S. were also liberated. Hamas claims to have concealed these hostages in secure locations and tunnels within Gaza. According to the Israel Defense Forces, the hostages consist of approximately 20 children and between 10 to 20 individuals over the age of 60. Gaza hospitals struggle as airstrikes escalate.
10, the worst single mass killing of Palestinians in the Israel-Gaza war so far. Hundreds are dead after a blast at a hospital.
As the Israel-Gaza conflict enters its 3rd week, hospitals in Gaza are grappling with a dire shortage of essential supplies. At the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital, bodies have overrun available space, and medical resources are rapidly depleting. Doctors work tirelessly to treat the wounded, but medications and equipment dwindle each day. Similar scenes unfold in hospitals across the territory. At the Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza City, a team of 23 medical professionals tends to over 500 patients, even as nearby buildings face bomb strikes. Patients and civilians sheltering in the hospital live in constant fear. The health situation is described as catastrophic, forcing doctors to prioritize treatment. Some wounded individuals have been waiting for critical surgeries for days. Medical staff has been reduced due to casualties and restricted access, leaving those remaining to care for both patients and displaced individuals seeking refuge. The Israeli military has urged residents in northern Gaza to relocate southward for safety. However, thousands continue to stay in the north, facing heightened risks. Overnight airstrikes have claimed numerous lives, exacerbating the strain on hospitals.
Ya Allah! Ya Allah! Ya Allah!
Gaza's health authority reported a significant loss of life. The Israeli military states it has targeted over 320 sites, including key Hamas and Islamic Jihad locations. Desperation for supplies is palpable across Gaza's hospitals. While some aid has managed to enter, fuel, crucial for powering generators, remains unavailable. Gaza's dire healthcare situation demands immediate attention and intervention. Mystery is growing by the minute.
that there have been multiple airstrikes overnight, and they are also hitting the territory's southern area, where for many days now, Gazans were told by Israel that they had to evacuate from the north and go south, where they would be safer.
The leader of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has stated that the situation in Gaza is getting worse by the minute.
It is important to also recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation.
Guterres explained that before the conflict started on October 7th, around 500 trucks with supplies were entering Gaza. However, this number has dropped dramatically. Now, only about 12 trucks are coming in each day, even though the needs are greater than ever before. Israeli ground forces expand activity in Gaza, intensifying operations. In a recent statement, a spokesperson for the Israeli Defense Forces confirmed a significant escalation of bombing in Gaza, signaling the impending commencement of a ground operation. The spokesperson mentioned, "In continuation of the offensive activity we carried out in the last few days, the ground forces are expanding the ground activity this evening." The Post emphasized the IDF's concerted efforts across various dimensions to accomplish the objectives of the ongoing conflict. During a conference call with reporters, National Security Council spokesman John Kirby refrained from commenting on specific IDF operations, asserting that such details are exclusively within the purview of the Israeli Defense Forces. Kirby emphasized, "We're not going to get into the habit of chiming in from the sidelines here on what they're trying to do on the ground." The developments reflect a notable intensification in the military campaign in the region. What could happen next?
And what may turn out to be the next phase in a long and grueling battle. 2 U.S. officials tell CBS News that Israel appears to have begun a rolling start to its long-anticipated ground invasion of Gaza.
While Israel's specific plans remain undisclosed, there is a belief that they are preparing for a ground operation which could potentially be prolonged and involve significant combat. Israel's defense minister stated that they are gearing up for a comprehensive operation against Hamas, utilizing air, ground, and sea forces with the aim of dismantling the militant group. Hamas, on their part, has stated their readiness for all possibilities, including a full-scale war and an Israeli ground assault. In the occupied West Bank, tensions are running high, with the Palestinian
President
Health
Biden
Ministry
expressed
reporting
skepticism.
at least 95 Palestinians killed since the October 7 attack. Residents in the West Bank have expressed fear of potential violence from the Israeli military and security forces, as well as concerns about retaliation from the estimated 700,000 Israeli settlers residing in the area. Potential for a broader regional conflict?
The war that Israel is waging against Hamas could turn into a wider regional conflict. And
the Hamas attack has raised concerns about the potential for the conflict to spread across the region. This is due to the close relationships between Hamas, Iran, and Lebanon's Hezbollah, all of whom share anti-Israel stances. U.S. officials have cautioned about the possibility of a wider regional conflict in the Middle East. The impact of the conflict is already evident along the Lebanese border with Israel and in the occupied West Bank. Hezbollah, which is designated as a terrorist organization by the U.S. and Israel, has unequivocally supported the Palestinian militants. They have organized rallies in solidarity with Palestinian groups and strongly condemned Israel's extensive airstrikes on Gaza. While Hezbollah has engaged in skirmishes with Israel since the Gaza war began, these clashes have thus far been limited to the border areas of both countries. Iran, believed to be backing Hamas, has denied involvement in the October 7 attack and cautioned Israel against targeting its allies in Lebanon. The evolving situation in the region calls for urgent international attention and diplomatic efforts to find a sustainable resolution. Thank you for seeking information on this complex and sensitive issue. If you have any further questions or need more details, feel free to ask. What else would you like to know? Stay tuned for more updates.